Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today at Homeschool Connect Expo. Today I have someone that I've been waiting to interview, to chat with and speak to. Pat Murray from CTCMath. He has put together a beautiful system. He is a sponsor of Homeschool Connect Expo, and I really can't say too much about their group, their company, and then about the math program that he's put together. So Pat, thank you for joining us, and why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
Well, thanks, Sam. Thanks for inviting me on. Look, I'm from Sydney, Australia, so it's 7 a.m. as we're talking now. I've just dropped one of my girls off to netball practice, so I was glad the traffic wasn't too bad to get back. But look, we've been around for a while now. I think I started teaching when I was a 20-year-old, so in sort of regular schools there. So I was teaching for 10 or so years in schools, and during that time, I'd always be doing a lot of tutoring as well, just to, primarily to earn a bit of extra income. So, but what I did find, Sam, during that whole tutoring process was that it really enabled me to get a chance to work one-on-one with kids and sort of test a few different ways. And what I found is that depending on the way I taught something, it was vastly different approach to whether they understood it or not. So I actually thought, well, that's quite interesting. It wasn't stuff that I learned in college or at university on how to teach it. It was more so learning just by the immediate response I was getting, from the kids there. So and that was over quite a lot of years. And I decided to actually to do that, to work. And we opened a couple of tutoring centres, again in Sydney. And then from there, we developed the computer program. This is sort of its third or fourth, I guess, version. Okay, in the first instance, it was just on the computer. Then we was on the old CD-ROMs, and then we moved on online. And anyway, it's been a bit of a journey, Sam, to get here. It's we've been pretty happy now with where it's at, but it's taken us a while to get there. That's for sure.
Yeah, so over the years, how many students have kind of gone through the CTCMath?
Yeah, well, we sort of break it up in countries, I guess. So in Australia, firstly, because that's where we kicked it all from. We're looking, in the hundreds of thousands of students. Yeah, probably pushing into the low millions, actually, because it's used in so many schools in Australia. And then in New Zealand, we launched in New Zealand and the UK. And then more recently, CTC was launched in the US. I think 2013 we kicked off there. And in the US, I think we've probably got I think about 20,000 homeschooling families using the program at the moment. So yeah, yeah, and then that number is increasing all the time. And so I've got a terrific team here in Sydney that we all work really well together. And Matthew heads up the CTC side of things, and he's terrific, and he's, I always love hearing directly from CTC families how well they're going, and how well the team here we've got is helping them out. It was really pleasing.
Yeah. Now the CTCMath here in the States, it's totally 100% online.
It's all online, yep. And the reason, well, there's a lot of reasons we've done that, but the primary reason is that if anything needs to be adjusted or changed or added, we can just do that immediately. And what we found, so because we've got experience in the old CD-ROM versions as well, many years ago, we found there were some difficulties there, and some sort of when the computers updated, and that sometimes the CD-ROM didn't work, sometimes didn't work. So it's all online. It has been online for a number of years now, and we found that the best system.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, it's nice because you can do it everywhere, and like you said, the DVD-ROM, had so many issues with the different computers and everything. But now, what grades or levels do CTCMath cover?
Yeah, right from the start, right from the youngest all the way up to, we've got some calculus courses. So it covers everything. It covers and families use it as their full curriculum. With the right up to the top there, the calculus, I'd like to beef that up a little bit, and we're working on that. But certainly, right from the youngest, right through all the grades, it's a really good coverage, and a lot of families are using it as their their full curriculum, and they're really happy with it. And I guess what we've done, or what we've always attempted to make things as simple as possible, Sam. What I've found in my experience is that it's sometimes very difficult for the kids to learn if it's a bit boring. If it's sometimes I guess not criticism, but my observation of where teachers and parents might struggle teaching math is that they sort of think they've got the longer the explanation, the better it is, and they keep on going. And my philosophy and my theory is quite different. I'd like to address a problem or address an example very quickly, very simply. And I guess one of my gifts is that I can turn something that's fairly complicated, or might be complicated or confusing, and make it fairly easy to understand. But not by dumbing things down, but just being able to make it easy to understand. And that didn't happen overnight. I mean, that's just with experience of over many years of refining our lessons as well. It's a bit like, I guess, a good analogy is if you're presenting an assignment or something, you might present the first draft, get a draft form, and then you might get it and then edit that out and keep on improving that draft until you present something that uses your final copy. And it's a bit like that with my math lessons over the years. My first efforts, I guess, and that was built on many years' experience teaching, but my first lot of lessons are actually quite different from my current lessons in terms of over the years of progress. I can improve that, and we've improved. The whole team's improved our things over many years, I guess now. So, and it's a continual thing. I mean, we're not saying we're perfect. We're still looking at ways to improve the program, and we actually quite enjoy when customers suggest, oh, look, have you thought about this? Often we have thought about it, and often there's some reasons why we don't do things. But sometimes there's some good suggestions, and we can try to bring that sort of idea in.
Yeah, I diving in deep into the CTCMath, and I absolutely love what you just said. The lessons are very short. They're not drawn out, so that keeps the attention span of the kid. I'm a math nerd, and so going through these, I enjoyed them, because they were short and sweet, which I loved, and then they had multiple different ways of showing kids, around the math, how to comprehend, I believe that's pretty much a great way of teaching kids. And you can tell that this is multiple levels, and what you have done is this ever-growing knowledge power of this is the first draft, this is you are chopping away, and you're adding and growing and learning and tweaking, and it really shows. It's amazing. Why do you think there's other reasons that CTCMath just works?
Well, I think you've hit, Sam. The critical one, the biggest one, is the video. The video lessons that we have, and they're short, they're concise, and they're deliberate. Um, sometimes it's good to know what to leave out as well, and that's just with experience. I mean, there's lessons there where I've deliberately actually cut them down a bit and saying, okay, well, actually, what I've just taught there, either doesn't need to come there, or it might come a bit later, or it doesn't need to be done at all. So I find that what's not taught is sometimes as important as what is being taught, and that's a difficult one. I've only learned that through experience and so on. So, but I think the critical thing is, okay, the lessons are short. Students can, they can look at it, understand it. If they don't understand it, they can go back and they watch it again, and that's not taking a lot of time. But the critical thing, I think, is once they've watched that lesson, then they can start practicing their math, and then basically, bang, there it is. Practice the math, get immediate feedback, and then it's a bit like rinse and repeat. So that sort of process works really nicely, and and I always found that, look, if the kids, sort of probably saying this a few times, but if they can learn something quickly and then start practicing it straight away, that's much better than if they're sitting there and watching a lesson and watching it, getting to it, and and then sometimes math's so boring, could send a whole army to sleep. But I'm very aware of that. So we've got to make it nice and short and get the kids, understanding it and then working on it.
I love it. It's highly impressive what you've put together and the videos and everything you've done. Now you've been doing this for a while. Why do you think it's important for students to really comprehend math?
Well, look, there's a few different levels of that. I mean, certainly, as you get older, you always need math, particularly when finances and so on. I've had kids old enough now to, my own kids and kids that I've taught over many years, to see that if they've got a good grasp of math, once they're in the real world, once they're in the adult world, it's much easier for them to handle all of that sort of stuff, and not to be conned, if you like, with promises, with banks and that giving you, credit cards as an example. And if they've got an understanding of, actually, how does interest rates work? Okay, if I grab this credit card, I'm actually going to end up paying the bank a whole lot more money for nothing. So the finance side of things is good. In terms of budgeting as they get older, again, that's critical. So that's basically if they're going into a field that doesn't involve math at all. Okay, if they're going to a job that involves math, and then they need to be very good with that. But I guess even when they're much younger than that, to be good at math is more so, I think, as well, for their confidence. Okay, I've seen so many people who think, they've struggled with math at some stage, and they just convinced I'm no good at math. And mum and dad also say, that's not surprising because I was no good at math either. So but that doesn't need to be like that. So it's, if you get taught math a way that you can understand, then okay, firstly you start understanding it, you start doing it, and then your confidence goes, well, I can actually do this, and which is great for later on in life too, because they'll get to stages where they're struggling with something, nothing to do with math, struggling with something, and they're going, hang on, I've got a problem here, but I can actually relate it back when I was younger. I was no good at math, or I had a problem with math, but I worked out a way, just with the good teaching or good examples, or that I could actually succeed in that. So even succeeding in math at a young age can help them later on work out a way, okay, I'm struggling with this, I can actually use methods, get the right advice from people who I trust and who can teach me, and I can get through things. So it's not just a one-off thing in math. It's not. I never see it as a compartment. I see it actually. It transcends right through to adult life.
And that's one thing I've noticed about your reviews online and your testimonials online, and people I've spoken to that utilize CTCMath. It's not just the math, that's the cool part about it. They love the math, they love the videos, they love seeing their kids, but almost everybody talks about the students' overall attitudes or the self-confidence is built once they are able to, kind of go over this mountain, the math
Yeah,
mountain, and
yeah,
understand
absolutely.
have you seen that a lot?
Yeah, that's the one that sort of gives me, pleases me, because I mean, I'm a math nerd like you, Sam. I love math. Math was always easy for me to understand, but I also knew that for a lot of people it's not. So I guess that's an advantage that I've got as a teacher. I know some of my teaching buddies, or teachers I know, they think, oh, I'm teaching, why don't my kids love math like I do? And and they don't get, people don't. So I understood that from a very early age, I guess. So I think, okay, they're not everyone's different. I'm also a sports nut. I love sport, but I know there's people who just don't get it, as they don't like sport at all. So I'm aware of all of that sort of stuff. So I say, okay, well, I'm teaching to an audience here, and my top classes who are all math nerds, that was easy for me. That was super easy to teach. But then I had to teach kids who didn't like math at all. So I said, okay, well, how am I going to teach this so they can get something really worthwhile out of it? Not only that, but then their confidence can build. And I can remember back when I was teaching senior schools in Sydney there, that one of the kids who topped my my leaving class, the Year 12 class, grade 12 for us, he was in grade 10. He was he was a struggling kid. But I remember, sitting down, spending a bit more time with him, because he asked me to. I was prepared to do it, and he ended up putting the effort in, and he surprised himself. He ended up being the top Year 12 student. He was the Ducks in the math class. So these sort of things, and I really enjoy seeing that and hearing that from parents to say, look, my son or my daughter was really struggling, but now, wow, they're really enjoying it, and that's one thing I see, because people say, how can you actually enjoy math? I said, well, sometimes it's not necessarily enjoying the math, but it's enjoying the success that you get with achieving something that before, you really dreaded it. I just don't want to do this. But then all of a sudden, oh, actually I can achieve here. Oh, this is actually quite cool that I'm actually achieving something that in the past I was I just didn't want to do it. So I guess that's the biggest thing that I see, the biggest effect that parents tell me about, and I hear directly from the kids as well. It's great when I hear that. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome. Now you're the founder of CTCMath. And we were speaking before. Now you definitely know something about kids being totally different learners. How many kids do you have?
So we have. We got married very young. I met my wife we were at high school together. So we've got 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. And I was, I just before we got here, I just dropped off one of my daughters for netball. So it's early here, but and all of them have been different. Probably the older 2 kids, they were really good at math, and I thought, oh, they'll all be good at math. But the next couple not so good, and then the sort of the youngest one is, the youngest few are really good again. But there's all different, and we and they're all different kids as well, by the way. They're all brought up the same way. They've all got their different personalities and different challenges, I guess, too. But in terms of math, some are fantastic, don't need any help, and others need a fair bit of help. And funnily enough, sometimes they don't. Even though I help so many people around the world, math, and sometimes my kids, no, Dad, we don't want to get help from you. So I've actually got to get someone else to help them. So that's a funny thing. Sometimes they just don't want to hear from mum or dad.
Well, that's encouraging for, especially on the homeschool side. I have 3 kids, two of them were math people, one of them was not. And so it's good to know that, even being the founder of CTCMath and everything else, your kids are different, and some of them were math and some of them weren't. So, I mean, I think that might be encouraging to a lot of people out there, that because I struggled with it.
I hope so.
I totally struggled, when I couldn't teach my daughter, and it just came natural. And so, but uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
on
and
the,
just on that, Sam, one of the things I've got to say, I confess as well, there's sometimes when you're teaching your own child, sometimes you get a bit frustrated. You know, you get
yeah,
frustrated that, oh, why aren't you getting this? You know, everyone else got it. And anyway, yeah, one of the things that you've got to guard against is being frustrated if your kids don't understand something that you're teaching the first time or the second time. And I mean, I've been guilty of that, but I'm a lot better now than I used to be. And but still could be better. But I always think, yeah, because that sort of thing, you've got to be careful that, you know, if they sense that you're getting frustrated, annoyed at them, you know, because they're not getting something, then you know, that's math. But later on in life, you know, when they've got, you know, some more you know, sort of serious problems, or not problems, but things they want to discuss, if they're worried about your reaction, you know, then you know, there's you know, you got to be very careful as a parent. You know, I guess although everyone knows that, but
no,
it's
and that's
sometimes worth hearing again. Yeah.
and that's 100%. I mean, true. I actually just this last weekend, you know, my daughter is married, has her first child,
Oh, terrific.
is 22 years old. Had to go back to her and apologize.
Okay.
She was the one who I got frustrated, you know, of trying to teach her math, and it was a struggle, and it hurt our relationship. I mean, it really did. It's, you know, I learned from it, she learned from it, you know, and we've had a great relationship, but it actually hurt a little bit, you know. And so I actually had to go back this weekend and apologize to her, you know, about getting frustrated with her about math, and you know, how I didn't understand it, and maybe I was putting actually more pressure on her.
Yeah. Okay.
And every time we tried to go and learn more, I put more pressure on, and then she had this fight or flight, you know, where she just shut down, and you know, and it was a great thing. It was a wonderful thing. You know, I always tell people, you know, it's okay to apologize to your kids.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that when I look at CTC math, I really wish I had that in, you know, our teaching, you know, when you know, we were raising her, because I think it's a way to be a part, but it's a way to, you know, you have the proven track record, you have this amazing, you know, video all online, the different ways of learning, you know, to where I could step back and you know, and so that's why I love it. I absolutely love, even, you know, I could teach it, I could do this, but I didn't have the years of experience that you did, and that's what you put together into CTC Math Online. And that's why I really appreciate, you know, that you were able to do this, because, you know, it will help, and it is helping, and it has helped, like you said, a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of the pressure off the parents as well. That's what, yeah, we see that a lot, and the constant, well, you know, up to then the constant battle of actually, you know, getting over this math obstacle, this math block, you know, for the parents to be, okay, you can grab CTC Math, kids can learn at their own pace, and then if they are, and sort of mum and dad can have more of a I guess the sort of looking over the shoulder type thing, but also a lot of the mums and dads like using the lessons themselves to actually prep them, you know, so they can help their kids as well. So we find that a lot too, because the videos are so comprehensive and easy to digest, easy to understand. And yeah, we get a lot of that even from parents to say, "Oh, gee, I wish I had it when I was a kid," you know. So I guess that's yeah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. Now for homeschoolers, how does the system work? Do the parents have to pay per child, per lesson, per grade?
No, we try to make it as simple as possible. So so there's a single student price if you've just got the one child, but then there's a family price. So the family price covers however many children you got. And you know, me being a father of 10 children, you know, it would cover all my 10 children. But so that's just the one family price. So, and then we're not restricted. We don't restrict any grade. So you've got you know, depending on what grade your child's in, you know, they've got full access to that grade. But we know that, you know, they might have missed something beforehand. They might really want to advance and go ahead. So they've got full access to SAM for all the grades. So we put all that in. So not only just the grade they're working on, they can go back, they can go forward. So there's unrestricted access there as sort of a free bonus to everybody there. So what else should I say? Well, what we do with homeschooling price is actually you get a 50% discount on the regular sort of family price that anyone else would be paying. So that we've always done that. We've always tried to look after the homeschooling families, and that's one way we've been able to do that. So.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I'd love that, being able to, you know, have it locked on the grades where the kids can go through, and like you said, go back, go forward, get a hint, see what's going on. I mean, that is awesome. I really appreciate the time. You know, I always ask, you know, before let everybody off, is there anything else that we didn't talk about, or you would like to share about CTCMath?
I think, well, I think you've done a good job, Sam. You're good at, you're good with the questions. But look, I think the good thing about what we've been able to do, we've been able to help so many people, and we're very confident that we can help anyone. Okay, we're very confident we can help anyone. But in saying that, there's always, you know, I understand that from a parent's point of view, you know, if they introduce something new, is it going to suit my child? Is it going to work? So I would suggest, look, try it out. If you're not sure, if you're sitting on the fence, try it out. And if it's not working for you, then we offer a full 12-month money back guarantee. So, you know, not just, you know, not after 2 days, not after a week or a month, for a full 365 days, you know, on the 364th day, well, that's Pat, this didn't work for me. Okay, our team will just give you your money back, no problems. Okay, so that's what I think. You know, if you're sort of sitting on the fence, you're not sure, look, try it out. It's not going to cost you anything if it doesn't work. So please try it.
That's awesome. I think anybody that's homeschooling their kids, you know, this is above and beyond anything I've seen. This is such a nice math program, and you know, I do love the thought of you know, it just gives them that self-confidence, you know, and how you put that, you know, they can get those little nuggets, and then they can grow from that. So, you know, Pat, I really appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate, you know, everything that you've put together and to put into CTCMath. I mean, I'm so impressed with it, and I appreciate you being a sponsor of the Homeschool Connect Expo, and standing with us to try to help homeschool families out and their students. And so all the links are down below. Anybody who's watching this, you know, jump onto their booth, click the buttons to go out to their site, and really jump on this, because it's amazing. Two, the price is wonderful, and how they package it together, and then that guarantee you just can't beat. So try it out. The need to try it out. Everybody should be on here and trying this out. So again, Pat, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sam. All right, pleasure to be here, and I've really enjoyed our chat.
All right, appreciate it.